Good evening. Let the call to order the February 7th, 2023 regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board. Seth, would you like to provide a roll call for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brad Jefferson.
Here.
Travis Oakley. Raymond Layton.
Here.
Margie Dunn.
Here.
Pat Doherty.
Here.
Sonia Luzo.
Here.
Kyle Deering. Marshall Ballard. We do have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Seth. So our first item of regular business is approval of minutes from the our January meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those? Do we have any corrections or revisions that need to be made?
Didn't see any.
Okay. Hearing none, this time I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes.
I move that we approve last meeting's minutes.
Okay. Have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, so our first item of new business is Phoenix Derby Park LLC is requesting subdivision final plan approval for Athens Acres Phase 1. That is formerly Derby Park Phase 7. That's a proposed 45 lot plan unit development. The subdivision is located on approximately 37.98 acres. It is in R10A and A5F residential districts. The site is located at the terminus of Elizabeth Avenue. The property is further identified as a portion of Craven County Parcel ID 8-240-27000. Seth, would you provide us with the staff review?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just moving right along, this proposed final plat proposed 3192 linear feet of proposed streets, City of New Bern utility. Got the subject property here at the end of Elizabeth Avenue. And again, this was formerly Derby Park Phase 7. We've got the new final plat with a different name, but you guys have seen it before back in 2021. This is Phase 1, and they will propose later phases for the remainder of the previously approved lots. The project received general plan approval from this board in August of 2021. Staff reviewed the proposed subdivision and found that all the legal and technical requirements for final subdivision plan have been satisfied. Therefore, staff has no objection to final subdivision plan approval of Athens Acres Phase 1. Contingent with performance guarantees accepted by the city attorney. We have received a letter of credit in the correct amount, $334,926. Jamie has approved this document. We're just waiting on the hard copy arriving.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
All right, so open to the board for any discussion, questions?
I do. What are we going to do about the water runoff? Water runoff. That area is so low.
Where's it going?
Yeah.
So, John, if you want to come up to the front and tell us who you are.
Well, this particular plan is not going to show that, but the construction plans and store warning plans do. Most of the drainage on this is going up to the top of the page toward the railroad track, which is to the north of this particular track, through a series of other ditches and things.
So maybe an important question to ask is all of our, I assume since development is nearly complete, you're before us asking for final plan approval. I presume all stormwater permitting, everything is in order?
Oh yeah, yes, and you can see on this plan, we don't show it in any detail. There are some attenuation basins that are on here that basically store the water to slow it down before it leaves the site. And some of the wetlands will take on some of the water, but the majority of the drainage for the impervious surfaces goes toward the top of the page there. Yes, all the permits are in place.
So the top of the page, where does that back up to? So
There you go.
where on there would it be, John? I can't tell with all that green space.
What was your question?
About where the top of the page, you said the water was gonna go to the top of the page. So is that north, south, or east? I'm gonna look at this and look at the photo.
That's north.
That's what I thought, so it's gonna travel north.
Yes, ma'am.
There, okay. And I'm doing this without the planning.
Sure.
And I'm not the only one in my office, so someone else did all this. But there's some drainage features that come through here, okay, that go toward the top of the page, toward drainage that's, where the railroad tracks are, goes across the railroad tracks, goes by Bosch, and then eventually makes it out to probably those ponds where Mark Marietta was, and then eventually into the Neuse River. If I'd have known you were going to ask that question, I could have brought the plans with me.
Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is, and I brought it up before back in '21, because of the water, as we build back there, it tends to go back to the original Derby Park area and flood those homes.
This doesn't have anything to do with that.
So you don't think none of that water's gonna flow that way?
No. No, this is not the area that you're talking about where some of the people in one of the multifamily areas were having some flooding issues. That has nothing to do with this project.
Well, the flooding that I'm referring to has nothing to do with multifamilies. This was at the front of Derby Park. House flooded there. My niece's house is flooded numerous times on Preakness Place.
Boy, that's not near this particular project.
But we know water travels to the lowest point. Doesn't matter where it's located at, it's going to travel to the lowest point.
Not in this, well, yes, it does, but it goes to the north out of this project through a series of pipes and ditches.
So you're saying elevation north is lower?
Toward the river.
Toward the river.
You don't know?
The drainage goes to the north, okay? Now, we might be cutting through some hills with ditches, but those are already existing ditches that we're going to do. But all the permits are in place, all the engineering was done on it. And it's been constructed in that way.
Any additional discussions or questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion.
I have one question
Okay.
to interrupt. There was some discussion several months back at the Board of Alderman meeting about traffic through on Elizabeth Avenue. Has that been settled, discussed, changed?
No.
I know you had a bunch of people come out and they were upset because the trucks driving through there and all that. Is that
I mean,
anything we could do, or
it
is
is going to connect
Just doing construction, right?
West New Bern Phase 2
Yes.
onto this property.
okay? So they go back out the other way, not through.
At some point, it will connect.
Okay.
Our
I
land use
believe
ordinance
it's right.
requires connectivity,
Okay.
so there has to be stub outs, connecting one to existing infrastructure and then to future infrastructure.
Okay. I can just see people coming to the Board of Alderman on this case, but asking that question, so.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Interesting. No way I'm thinking that. I'll move that we approve this.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Do you want us to do a roll call, Seth? I'm perfectly fine calling it like we normally do.
I'll let you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the application for final plan approval. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item of business is Price and Poole, 2612 Investment Property LLC has submitted an application to rezone approximately 6.83 acres known as Tax Parcel ID 8-400-007 from neighborhood business C4 to commercial C3. Parcel is located to the east side of Lowes Boulevard at the intersection, at its intersection with Trent Road. Seth, would you provide us with
Yes,
staff?
sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it's 6.83 acres. We've got multiple existing commercial structures on site. The City of New Bern water, sewer, and electric are available, and the fire service is provided by City of New Bern Station 1. So our first look on the map here, this is a long, narrow parcel along Lowes Boulevard. We've got Trent Boulevard down here to the south. There are no environmental issues on this property, no blue line streams, flood zone, wetlands, and if anywhere discovered to be taken care of or addressed during the site plan review process. As we discussed earlier, the existing zoning is C4. We've got extensive C3 in the surrounding area along Trent and of course out along MLK. The current C4 neighborhood business, minimum lot size 5,000 square feet. If residential purposes, the R6 standards apply. C4 neighborhood business is designed for less intensive commercial uses, designed to serve neighboring residential districts and neighborhoods. Proposed C3, same minimum lot size requirements. C3 is a general commercial with a wider range of higher intensity uses. According to the 2022 land use plan update, this property is located in the Martin Luther King Boulevard focus area. It's an area that's designated as having widespread continued growth, development, redevelopment. And within the focus area, we have Opportunity Zone A. You see the property tucking in on the edge over here. So it encompasses their commercial corridor around the New Bern Mall, which has had steady intensity of development. Served with public transit, which is the only one in the focus areas. So again, the site's 6.83 acres can be viewed as an expansion of commercial development within the growing area. The proposed rezoning from C4 to C3 is consistent with the recommendations in the 2022 land use plan update. The proposed rezoning is generally consistent with the character of the adjacent land uses and zoning classifications. Staff found the proposed rezoning to be in the public interest and consistent with the city land use and transportation plans, due to the parcel being located in both focus area and opportunity zone. You have to take any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, Seth.
Sure.
Open it to the board for discussions, questions.
Didn't it already have businesses on the corner there from what I'm gonna call Lowes
Yes,
Boulevard?
ma'am, right in
Trent?
here, there's the existing.
Yeah.
And what's triggered the rezoning, they wanted to, those businesses were somewhat industrial in nature for years. It was like a welder, a fabricator, a few others, and they've been closed for several years.
Right.
One of them's even got a roof on it, but they're going to demo that building, one that faces Trent Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to reoccupy those and get the power cut back on, they had to come through here for building permits. The uses they want to do, we identified as not permitted in C4, and the only way to move forward, the kind of uses that they used to have in there is have it rezoned to C3.
What's going to go in there? Not that it matters, I'll vote, but
The proposed use she's got, it's Billy Poole is the applicant. It's her family property. When her parents passed away, she and her brother still in it. A fabricator, a guy that does welding, I think makes boat tops, and then another sort of like machining kind of use.
so it's similar, yeah.
Yeah, the same uses that were,
There's still another building that's not used, that's still gonna be there on the side, right? Is that property, I know it's for sale for, I owned it for a long time, quite a while. And I didn't have time to pull it and see, GIS and see some of the other property. You know, there's other buildings that are dilapidated that are still gonna be there? Or is that,
One is definitely gonna be torn down, the one that looks
Yeah, it
the
has
most
to.
dilapidated.
Things they,
I think there's gonna be two remaining, and then a small one that's part of
that's
it.
not far away.
That one?
that one.
Well,
But there's
yeah.
low cars parked around there too.
But in your analysis, you should think about all possible uses that will be
Right.
allowable in that
Sure.
classification, not necessarily what the applicant is proposing at this
Well, I
point.
understand that.
Yeah, because that's something to change.
And all those uses were listed.
Right, I looked at those.
Mhm.
But there's C3 right across the street, and, above it, right?
When you're residential on the other side.
And with the.
Well, and C3 does not preclude residential.
I know that, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, most of our multifamily developments in town are in
Mhm.
C3.
Mhm.
C3 or RC.
That's the only questions I have.
That will change
Okay.
soon.
Any other discussions or questions? Okay, so before I entertain a motion, I'll remind everybody that our motion should be formed as a recommendation, as this has to go before Board of Aldermen. So this time I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept this, move this on to the Board of Aldermen. We vote positively on this.
Recommend.
Recommended, right.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so I think that gets us all through all of our new business. Is there anything else we need to discuss before I entertain a motion to adjourn? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to
Someone
adjourn.
in a hurry to home and eat, is
So
that?
we have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All
Who
in
was the first?
favor?
Son?
Margie was the motion. We'll say Brad was the second.
She's a born, yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.